massage.
The Heat, they're back on the hardwood tonight against the Los Angeles Lakers. Bam Adebayo is listed as questionable with his lower back contusion. Does not miss. He missed his first game of the season against the Clippers. We'll see if he's able to go tonight against the Lakers. At least he didn't have to fly anywhere, I'd imagine. So that's probably good for the back. The big news yesterday with Jimmy Butler, Leroy, after we had Anthony Chang of the Miami Herald on, who confirmed that, the whole Pat Riley thing went down. According to Ira Winderman, he was the first I saw to report this, but then others followed, that Jimmy Butler has a meeting with Micky Arison coming up, I guess tomorrow. I'd imagine. It says it's supposed to be after the road trip ends. He's expected to meet with him ahead of his scheduled return against the Nuggets. And I got to tell you, dude, when I read that kind of tipped me too. I don't think they're going to bring him back. I know it says in Ira's column that the Miami Heat are usually and very much against the idea of paying him to just be away. And supposedly Heat brass is supposed to meet as well tomorrow to decide, hey, can we get a deal done? Can we finish? I'm telling you, dude, when I saw that he's meeting with Micky Arison, my first reaction was, it's over. They're not bringing him back.
Yeah.
Do you disagree?
No, I don't. I can't disagree, because what is Mickey going to save?
Right.
You see what I mean?
Plus, I go back to the immediate, I feel like it feels like Mickey's kind of like, the last line of defense. But the last time I remember Mickey meeting with somebody, Dwayne Wade was a Chicago Bull the next day.
Right.
So it felt very much like a goodbye.
Do you think it's going to be the same, like, next day kind of turnaround? Or
I mean, it literally has to be the next day. Like,
I think.
I just don't think they're going to let him play in a Heat uniform anymore.
Right. But my other thing is that he says he doesn't want to be here, but Knicks is he said anywhere but here.
Yeah.
He said those words, but then comes out 2 days later and says, I only want to trade to Phoenix.
Right.
So, like, what do you want? Like, it's like you have literally made it impossible to accomplish anything you want with the things that you've said over the past month.
Agreed. So, I see that meeting with Micky Arison.
Trade him to the Utes.
To the Utes. He doesn't have a no trade clause. They could trade him anywhere they want.
Right.
I just don't know who would want him.
Right. And who's to say? And here's the problem. The one thing that I'll say about Dame, right? He maybe wasn't down with where they traded him, but when he got there, he played basketball, and that was never a question.
Right.
Whenever it becomes a question of whether you're going to play or not, remember they said that about Kawhi, and they went on to win a championship.
Right.
Because he wasn't, wasn't thinking Toronto, right? And he didn't really put a whole bunch of demands on it. But, like, you have to figure out what you want.
There was
do you
also
want to play for a certain team, or do you really want to be out of Miami?
There was also something like I forget the wording that Anthony had exactly yesterday in his column about this, but it had like the word oblige in there as in regards to Jimmy Butler playing, and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't sound like oblige.
That sounds way too nice for what's coming.
Like, what?
Right.
I was just like, huh?
So, like,
this is what he said. Anthony writes, if Butler is asked to rejoin the team and be in uniform at the end of suspension, the expectation is that Butler will oblige and be available to play in order not to lose more of his salary. So it's like, I'll be there, but you know why he's there. He's just there not to get docked, which I don't know. I just kind of read that and I'm like,
that means you're getting minimal effort.
Minimal effort, dude. Which of course he'll be insulted if you ask, did you give top effort? How dare you question that? You're finding my joy. Take a break. More to come here. Heat matchup tonight against the Los Angeles Lakers. We'll get into it. Kel'el Ware, can he build off of what he did last time? Nikola Jovic, can he bounce back? Tall time! Back after this. Miami Heat back on the hardwood tonight, you rascals. 10
Last
o'clock.
game.
Your 10 o'clock tip-off from Crypto.com Arena. Lakers, 4.5-point favorites tonight as the Heat get ready for them. Same as on the record, pretty much. Lakers
I would love to see if Kel'el can keep his feet in front of AD.
Yeah, there is AD is dealing with a foot thing, but he says that he's probable. LeBron has a foot, but he's probable. Dorian Finney-Smith is doubtful for a personal reason. And Bronny James is questionable with an illness. So those are your injuries tonight for the Lakers. The Heat, just the big thing to monitor is Bam Adebayo and his status for tonight. So the Heat and 15 minutes of Heat is brought to you by Hollywood Kia. The big game is here. Tackle game-winning deals during the handoff drive-off event at Hollywood Kia. Get $1,000 lease bonus cash towards your new Kia. Plus, we'll double your down payment up to $3,000. Visit them online, hollywoodkia.com, or call 832-930-6181. Kel'el Ware, of course, coming off a big fourth quarter in a game that kind of got away from the Heat against the LA Clippers. But Tyler Herro with some praise for the Giant Kryptonian.
I mean, he's one of my favorite players in the NBA. So, I mean, just watching him grow, really excited for it. You know, he's a guy that just keeps taking steps forward. He loves to learn, loves to pick up on different things, and I'm excited to watch him grow.
Very tall. Oh, wingspan. And you see, I love the he's got the quote that he gave to Jax was my favorite, where he says, "Just throw it up there, ain't gonna be no turnover." I love that. And then Tyler Herro had said on the road trip that Kel'el Ware goes to him before every game, and he puts it in order like he's at the drive-thru. Like, let me get 4 lobs. Beep, beep, boop, boop, boop. I love that.
Is that what that's for? They can ring it in on there. Okay.
No, it's like, boop. What do you want to say?
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Boop. Let me get 4 lobs.
That's not how it works, by the way.
Boop.
There's a button on their hip.
No. Boop. I see the buttons right there. Boop.
No, it's not.
Boop.
Oh my goodness.
You're talking about the coaches. I'm talking about fast food.
They still have to hit. Oh my goodness. What you would be talking about fast food.
We're still hungry.
Here's Eric Spoelstra on Ware's performance thus far this season.
You know, he's making some improvements. You know, the 13 rebounds, you know, for sure. I think he could have had a couple more. Change some shots under the rim. You know, we still want him to elevate, and there's probably 3 or 4 more that he could have gotten to. Then deflections and interior, you know, pass defense. But he's making progress. And it seems to be, you know, every day that he's learning something new.
How about learning during the game?
He is learning during the game.
Okay, that's all I'm asking.
Same.
I like it. That was very passive aggressive. Like,
I don't like, you know, I don't really know what you're saying.
I'm just saying. The 13 rebounds, that's improvement. Probably could have had a couple of more. I'm like, I mean, the last game there was a game he had 0. So I would say 13 is a substantial increase.
It was an increase.
Right.
It was an increase.
So you still say he could have got more?
Vanessa P. Petty says, Tobin has really matured. The LeBron slander is at a minimum. I've grown.
Yeah, I do see that.
I've grown.
You know why? No, that's not why.
Mm.
That's not why. Y'all missing it. Okay. Tobin is really shook by this Jimmy situation. And so he's not, you know, he can't really concentrate on the things that he would normally concentrate on, because in the back of his mind, he's still wondering what the hell is going to happen with Jimmy.
I know what's going to happen with Jimmy.
What's going to happen?
He's not playing on Friday night.
He going to have to recondition?
He's not going to play on Friday night. This is going to be playing. He's either going to be brewing some coffee at Big Face or he's going to be playing dominoes somewhere after Micky Arison tells him to take a hike.
So
We'll let you know when you're traded to Phoenix.
So question. How does that help anybody? This is my whole point. If
doesn't it help, it helps the locker room, doesn't it? Like you don't have to worry about it.
No. Of the parties involved,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're not including the kids here. Of the two parties involved in the Heat organization and Jimmy, how has any of this happened helped anything that anybody wants to accomplish?
It has not.
Right. So
any of this has not.
But
now that you've gone,
we're here, we're making. In order for somebody to trade for Jimmy, they would have to make the same assumptions that you're making, that you have made over the last couple of years.
Except if you're
in January, he's gonna turn it up.
Yeah, but Phoenix is in a desperate spot, dude. Like they have Kevin Durant who could walk on them next year. They have a Bradley Beal contract that's awful. So they're just going to give the Bradley Beal money to Jimmy Butler because it's a better fit.
No, I got you. But we're making one assumption.
Mm-hmm.
We're making a huge assumption here. We are assuming that Jimmy's going to be Jimmy wherever he goes.
Oh, 100%. Look, that's been part of my
right.
part of the reason I think that he has turned it down and turned the Jets down is because he got hurt twice this season and was like, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not. Like, I don't mean to throw accusations out there. I'm just reading the room of what I've seen.
Right.
Like I was,
everything started with the ankle twist.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was the second one of the season. He did it in both ankles. And he's like, am I really going to go through a grind of an NBA season for a team that isn't going to extend me? I want to get extended. And, I don't think that he was going to throw it out there like that. Like small things become big things.
So I'll ask you this.
Because otherwise, like, what else would have changed? Everything else, all the stuff that we know, pissed off at Riley. I'm not saying he shouldn't be pissed off at Riley. All the things that he could be upset about with the roster construction, I think they're fair criticisms. Right. But all the things that were issues aren't new issues. Right. So my biggest thing, and I keep coming back to this, what made it go nuclear? What made it go to the point?
That's the only moment we had.
The only thing I can point to is like, you know what? These guys aren't going to pay me. I'm not going to screw up the next team that's going to pay me.
So
it's not a great, like, I get everybody say, you guys are right. Has he quit on the team? Absolutely. I'm not defending Jimmy Butler. I'm trying to explain what the hell has happened. And I don't, because this is a level of murkiness over this whole thing that nobody has come to give me any decent explanation. All I keep getting now are petty grenades from the Heat to Jimmy to the Heat. And they're all, well, this is what I don't like about you, and this is what I don't like about you.
Right.
And that's all fine. Everybody's got their points. Everybody, you guys know where I stood. I was stand on pay Jimmy Butler. What I've been fascinated by in this whole thing that nobody is giving me anything clear on is when Jimmy Butler got hurt against the Thunder after having one of his best regular season games with the Heat, after he's complaining about usage, and then all of a sudden he's sick, and then he's reconditioning, then is playing dominoes with his agent in the Heat locker room on a night where the Heat are taking on the Rockets, where they probably were looking to piss off the Heat because they thought the Heat were going to get waxed by Houston, which they did not. And then Tyler Herro gets thrown into the hardwood. And then he comes back to practice the next day and is like, yep, good to go. Going to give it everything I got. And then doesn't give it everything he got. What the hell changed?
Right.
That's what I want to know. What changed in his mentality or what changed behind the scenes? Because according to reports yesterday from Chris Haynes, who's very plugged in, remember when I got the stink eye from Jimmy?
Right.
And I asked him, I said, hey, have you had conversations with Pat Riley? According to Chris Haynes, they had not had conversations at that point as a face-to-face, that they had not talked it out until the next day. Which you're welcome. I got them in a room together.
So my question is this.
Don't look at me like that, Frog.
You know what you did,
I
dude.
didn't do it. I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing this again.
Because you admit you did it.
So here's the question I have. If you're another team and you think Jimmy could help, Why? Based on what you've seen the last 2 years.
I think what they're probably just being,
It's hoping.
He's an ass.
There's a lot of like
there's a hope to it.
$60 million for hope.
But
right?
if you're paying $60 million right now
To the same guy,
they're
it
paying
only
$60
makes
million
sense.
to it. Yeah, it makes sense for them because they're paying $60 million to a guy with no hope.
They're paying $60 million regardless. You might as well get somebody who can play. My question is, based on Jimmy's last couple of years and how he has really broken down getting into January, February, March, and into the playoffs, even if he wanted out, what team, if money wasn't an issue, would sign up for that and hope that you turn it around without having anything even close to an idea of what Jimmy's going to look like if you bring him in and
everybody's bringing him in with the hope that now I'm in a more amicable situation.
We're assuming that I don't know, man. I'm just in a spot right now where I get Jimmy wants a trade, but he's done nothing that would garner people knocking down the door to get Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, but nothing's going to change now either way. All right, we're at the point.
Right.
That's why I'm saying when you're meeting with the owner, I just feel like that's all right, here's what we're going to do.
It's been nice.
Because nothing's going to change. Like nothing is going to change. And you can't take word for it, and I don't really think you can put the coach or the players through it anymore. And
it's a bad spot, but I'm always gonna believe this. I don't care how much you feel like the organization didn't take care of you. What does that have to do with what they're paying you now?
I 100% agree with you, Leroy.
Right.
And I think they were all
and the fact
like,
it's a sting. It stings. Like, I'm all about athletes getting as much money as they can.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But we're talking about 2 years from now and not getting paid 2 years from now to the point where you're sabotaging what you're doing now on the court. That seems a little extreme to me.
Right. And that's one of those things. And look, before, if I'm saying that he's sick or you're saying that was an ankle twist, let's just say it was either. To that point, he had missed a third of the season.
Right.
4 suspensions.
Right. So
like Pat
Riley,
it
got to the point where he just realized, I'm not going to play more games. So
yeah. Yes.
Right.
That's what I think happened. Schmieden says, when is Tobin's meeting with Micky? Because this is all his fault.
Your fault, dude.
I'm so mad at all of you. And you guys are
wait.
I really hope that this community would rally around me.
Hold on.
All they want to do is yell at somebody. And the only person who's talking 4 hours a day is me. So you guys have been yelling at me nonstop.
You sped this up. Dude.
Let's backtrack.
I can't deny.
Let's. Here's what I would like to say. The reason why we're on you is that it seems that the two comments from both parties all came on questions that you asked that got things going.
Okay.
So understand, if everybody's looking at you as the fire starter, all we have is your question to Pat, your question to Jimmy, their 2 answers, and then everybody run into the other party and say, look what this guy said about.
So in this case, I was just watching this documentary on Netflix about the Jerry Springer show. Essentially,
oh my goodness, is that crazy?
It was crazy. But you're essentially saying I'm not at fault for the lunacy, but I am Jerry Springer who's letting them throw haymakers at each other, and I'm asking the questions. I'm giving them the platform. That's what you're saying?
Yep.
I'm Tobin. I'm Jerry Springer.
Yep. That's basically what you did. And now it's to the point now, if Jimmy walked on stage and Pat was on stage, they would confront each other.
I'm basically like, if I was at a dinner party and this married couple invited me over and they were having problems, but I'd ask, so how much you guys doing it a week? and it was turned out to be 0.
Yeah.
And that just
Yeah.
Way
sent
to
them.
bring it up, Tone. Well, now that you
Wait.
mention it,
Wait, go back. Speetha said Tobin is Jerry Spring Roll.
I love spring rolls, man.
Oh, hey, so let me get this straight. The only difference
form of
between
vegetable I like.
a spring roll and an egg roll is no
Meat.
meat.
Yeah,
Oh no, I'm out.
but I can't even taste the vegetables, which is why I love spring rolls.
You could say you have vegetables.
I think I like I found out from that place, Leroy. I think I like everything in egg roll form. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, from the
Oh, man.
world
He's-
famous.
Anything in an egg roll is delicious.
Pretty good.
He's 100% right on that.
Yeah,
Karen says the heat.
They figured out a way to put a Philly cheese in an egg roll. It's delicious.
Karen says the heat are in more poop than that dollar store. Those dollar store bandits in Polk County.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Mr. Clean and Miss Dookie. I've been wondering about
I'm
that.
telling you, the biggest upset there, that was like it was like the 80s hockey team, the 80 Olympics, when I realized that they were black.
I saw the disappointment come over your face.
I was like, what? I mean, that sounds like something Cletus and Bullfrog would do.
E. Sim says no jersey retirement for Jimmy. Give 22 to the next player we signed to a 10-day. Didn't the Oklahoma City Thunder do that with KD? Didn't they give 35 like to a nobody like the next year? They were really salty about that. 22 is going to the rafters, dude. Like, listen, it's all of that stuff.
That's years away. But for right now, we need to think about what's going to happen.
Whoa.
On Friday.
I will say, though, the Miami Heat, I found out yesterday, did not ruin Tommy Tobin's love for the Miami Heat because he was watching a Disney show. They're all on streaming now that Chris Bosh just randomly showed up on. And I was like, he goes, who is that? I'm like, that's Chris Bosh, dude. And he goes, does he have a statue? I'm like, a statue? Jersey's in the rafters. He goes, well, when did he play? So he played with Dwayne Wade and LeBron James. They were the big three. So I went to this whole thing. We watched Game 6 yesterday.
Oh, do you love it?
Loved it, dude.
Oh, come on.
Loved it.
That's good.
Big shot Bosh.
That's good propaganda right there. That is pretty good.
I think that'll just be my thing. Instead of current Heat games, let's just watch old Heat games on YouTube.
Let's just
I mean,
watch.
they're okay. They're still like a 500 team. Like they're gonna be one of those teams that never go on that 7 or 8 game run.
Team though, they're not like if you're a child watching this is not a team that you watch and you like carry this to the rest of your if you caught the Marlins with Dontrell and that era, good time.
You're saying this team doesn't have a guy that's going to captivate?
It's just not a thing. Even back when the Miami Heat had like Damon Jones and they were winning fun games and Dwayne Wade came in, you're like, there's this young guy that I like. You look at the Heat now, it's like maybe Tyler Herro's cool enough to capture an audience.
Yeah, but it's hard. It might take a lot of people a minute or so because keep in mind, he was in every trade package before the season started.
Yeah.
So there's that. It's hard. It's also, maybe a lot of fans got into their mind that he wasn't even going to be here. So now we basically starting over with our love for Tyler Herro.
I agree with that because I think before, I would say probably before the summer of Dame, I would say Tyler Herro got louder pops in the arena than even Jimmy on some nights. Not in the playoffs, obviously, because he didn't have the playoff success, but people really love Tyler.
Man,
and then he got mentioned in the trade room. It's weird because we look back now at what Tyler was going through, right? And now look at what Jimmy is going through. Tyler may have handled it better.
More mature?
Yeah, and to say that he's younger, right? And probably it affected him a little bit more because it's something he's not, sometimes looking at situations like this, and I can tell you how I felt. I felt it as rejection, not as a ploy to do this or this with your roster or this, right? And being just a casualty of that. No, Tyler Herro would have been a casualty of Dame, right?
Yep.
But I didn't look at it that way. I look at it as, I'm not good enough to play on y'all team, right? And I think it it's weird that some guys look at it that way and some guys can accept that a lot sooner. So I looked at it as failure, that the team that drafted me don't want me anymore, right? So it's a weird dynamic. And I think Tyler, as we look back on it and see where he is now, he's getting into that prime, 26, 27. Like throughout the history of basketball, that's your prime. But for some reason, he had to be in his prime 3 years ago. But yeah, now that we look back, he probably handled himself like really well with it.
We'll take a break. Mix things up coming up next.
Previously on
Tobin and Leroy.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Jerry Springer died.
What?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I figured you would have found out during the show.
you are not the father.
That's
That's
more.
the wrong. No way,
more
dude.
Sorry.
Jesus.
What else you got?
Yesterday, the Golden State Warriors,
Mhm.
another of the highly coveted teams, not really doing so well. They fall to under 500 yesterday with a loss to the Toronto Raptors. They're now 19-20 on the season. Darko
Rajakovic.
Close. Rajakovic.
I love that guy.
That is the Raptors head coach. I believe we have another drop from him.
He called something the complete BS.
Yes, that's right. This is great.
What happened tonight? This is completely BS. This is.
I love it.
That's my dream. If Eric Spoelstra ever wants to leave, all respect to Chris Quinn, if I can get a coach with an accent, I'm all for it.
Oh my goodness.
One thing gets fired up too. Like, I don't need you to be like, even keel all the time.
Oh, wait, dude.
No, I need you to be angry sometimes.
What happened tonight? This is completely BS. This is.
I don't understand. He said BS the first time, and then
Yeah, I may have added an extra bleep in there for no reason, but it kind of just works with the vibe and everything. But he did have another quotable moment yesterday after the Raptors knocked off the Warriors. I think he said what a lot of Western coaches have been thinking for quite some time. He can't wait until Steph Curry retires.
Steph Curry is a player it's a privilege for all of us to live in an era and to work in this era in NBA when he's playing. I can't wait for him to retire. I'm gonna get drunk that night. I promise you that. I'm gonna celebrate.
Well, there's some weird stuff going on with the Warriors, man. You hear like some of these quotes that Steph is saying? He's like, we can't make a trade to mortgage the future. I'm like, does he want to get out?
what, you gonna play till you're 50? Because the future is now.
You want to finish their stuff, or you want to, you should like to
And-
be.
Little trades? You think Steph Curry? You think a simple trade of Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, just 1-for-1? Not that it would happen that way. You think that's enough to take the Heat to a championship?
I don't know, but it would be fun. It would be fun.
Do you want to win?
I don't know, dude, but it would be fun.
Do you want to win or do you want fun?
Tyler Herro and Steph Curry in the same backcourt. He's got Klay Thompson again. He's got a prime Klay Thompson right next to him.
But better, right?
Well, you don't have to go that far.
All right.
Wow, Steph Curry's coming to the Heat.
Love that.
Why you start this dude off?
Wouldn't that be great if Micky Arison's meeting and he goes, "Hey Jimmy, come in here, please. Hey Micky, hey, guess what? I couldn't make the Suns thing happen, but the good news is we're still sending you to a place you wanted to go." He goes, "Oh, great. Where are you sending me?" He goes, "Golden State." He goes, "I appreciate that, Micky. I've wanted to play with Steph for a long time, and you guys are doing right by me." He goes, "Oh no, we traded you for Steph Curry.
Yeah.
We traded you for Steph Curry. Jimmy, how about you take your big face coffee and stay on up and stay on out of here, dude."
Really? You think that's what Mickey's saying?
and then Micky Arison tells Jimmy Butler, "Splash." He goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Excuse me," and then he just derobes into his into his bathing suit and jumps and does a cannonball into the ocean because they're on the boat. Obviously,
Yeah, for sure.
they're on Micky Arison's boat. He goes, "Where are you going?" He goes, "I'm going to be a splash brother. See ya, cannonball."
What an amazing sight to have this billionaire owner.
We're here live at Biscayne Bay as billionaire Micky Arison has just cannonballed into the bay, shouting "Cannonball! I'm a splash brother."
You just realized now, though, doesn't know how to swim. Micky Arison never touched the water before. Anytime, well, no, I was just
We gotta go break.
Yeah, we gotta get out of here.